Before we begin, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I am a fan of Oblivion. I played it when it was first released, which was nearly 20 years ago. And yes, that does indeed make me a boomer. I unlocked all the base game achievements, while some of you were still a fetus in a womb. Secondly, I've been waiting for the Sky Oblivion mod for quite some time now. Way before the official Oblivion Remake was announced. And I'm also excited for Skywind if it ever releases. And thirdly, I'm not a hater of UE5, but most of the time I see a UE5 game, they all look the same as one another. There's nothing truly innovative about UE5 from what I've seen so far.
Get ready for Squirrel with a Gun.
Okay, maybe there's one or two innovative games. Sure, the graphics are impressive, but show me something better, like 1,000 NPCs on the screen at once. But we'll come back to that. And something that might crop up, I've been cynical in the past about the Elder Scrolls Online, in particular their monetization. I mean, if you thought Horse Armor was bad, wait until you see the loot boxes and the in-game housing on the Elder Scrolls Online. So naturally, I have a certain level of disdain towards Bethesda and the way they monetize stuff, and I'm also likely blacklisted by them. So rest assured, this is very much not a paid promotion. And if you do somehow find this review amongst the 1,000 other YouTubers who are gushing over their free copy of Oblivion Remastered, be sure to give the video a like and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. So with the intro out the way, let's jump into my review of Oblivion Remastered. Let's talk about the most obvious thing, the graphics. They are clearly better than the original, but any kind of graphical enhancement would have been impressive whether it was UE5 or CryEngine, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But what else did they improve, you might be wondering? One of the key things was that they claimed they overhauled the combat, with archery and melee getting the biggest updates. The aim was to make it feel less rigid and more fluid, so when you actually hit enemies now, they react to being hit. And it's the same with the bow. Usually when you shot them before, they kind of just absorbed the damage and carried on. And obviously the heavy attack combos and all that sort of stuff had a overhaul on the animations, which kind of goes without saying because the whole character model has been redone. You can now sprint in Oblivion, whereas before you had to install a mod, which most people done anyway. Sneak is now more aligned with Skyrim. In the original, it was very much yes or no, you're in sneak, whereas now it's a gradual sneak. The leveling system has been overhauled and made easier in my opinion, so it should be more user-friendly. Apparently, the difficulty system has been reworked, but honestly, it felt the same to me. And there's additional voices and sound effects. The UI has also been updated, but I feel like that was going to happen anyway if you're going to update the graphics, but it is a lot more friendly and streamlined. The character creator has been improved, but not everyone's a fan of the new Argonian and Khajiit model. Meow meow, give me meow meow. It's got like a receiver. So going back to what I was saying, the graphics are the most groundbreaking thing about this update. Everything else is very minor. And honestly, I could think of about 5 systems off the top of my head, which could have been a great improvement to the game, which they didn't add, but we'll circle back to that a bit later. So let's answer the question, have they done enough to remaster Oblivion? There's no argument that UE5 has made Oblivion look amazing, but UE5 makes everything look amazing. The issue that you have with UE5 is that it's usually quite unoptimized and causes a lot of performance issues. Now, there's going to be some bitty big balls in the comment section being like, just get a better PC, bro. But trust me, look at the forums, look at Reddit, look at the YouTube comment section. There are so many people with decent rigs who are having performance issues. Personally, I've had performance issues, low FPS, stutters, and I'm running a 3070. Not necessarily the highest end graphics card on the market, but certainly not the lowest. And my processor and RAM is more than enough. This game requires a beefy setup. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who want to play Oblivion Remastered just do not have the right equipment. It's also very unoptimized. There's already mods on the Nexus website to help improve performance. Unfortunately, not everyone has a Twitch streamer set up, so they're not going to be able to experience the game in its full glory. And remember, the graphics are its biggest selling point. And is that really enough? Something I've seen thrown around a lot is that it's a remaster, not a remake. And that's because although it's using UE5, it's still the creation engine driving this title, which some might see as a good thing and others as a horrendous car crash. People always say they love the bugs in Bethesda games, and that's always great until you lose a whole lot of progress because a quest bugs out or something just completely fucks up. Pretty much all the old glitches from the original Oblivion still exist, as well as some new ones. For instance, your camera getting bugged and thinking you're 8 foot tall. That didn't get tedious. So I'm sure a lot of people will be glad they kept the bugs, while others will be like, why don't you just fucking fix it? You had all this time and effort, you could have made it better, but no, you kept the bugs. It's worth noting as well, it wasn't Bethesda who directly developed this, they outsourced it to another studio called Virtuous, who have done similar projects in the past apparently. So whether you believe it's a remaster or remake, I still think there's a lot of stuff they could have added to the game, which wouldn't have affected it and would have enhanced the experience. For instance, why is there no survival mode? It's in the Skyrim Anniversary Edition, why not add it into Oblivion Remaster? I'm pretty sure there's no fishing, I haven't got that far, but that's something else they added to Anniversary Skyrim. Yes, they improved the UI, but could they not have improved it a little bit more? I hate having to use a scroll wheel to find my spells. Why can't we have them laid out at the bottom? And even just like little subtle touches could have been interesting, like looking through windows. Was that not something they could have done? And I feel like as well, there's a lot of load screens, and surely UE5 should stop that from happening. I don't know, it just felt like there's a lot more load screens than what I remember. They seem to take longer than obviously the original Oblivion. And as much as they said they improved combat, it really isn't that much more improved. I mean, if you was to take a game like Chivalry or Mordhau and put it into Oblivion, that would be an improvement. That would be a huge advancement in combat. But instead it's just, oh look, slightly better animations now. And would it have hurt if they added some new skill lines or some new weapons? They could always make a toggle so you can play Enhanced Oblivion or Vanilla Oblivion. So that way you cater to both audiences. The reason I'm looking forward to Sky Oblivion so much is that even if they just do a simple port over to the Skyrim engine with the Skyrim graphics, you know full well you're going to be able to do like 1,001 different mods. And that includes the Skyrim Together mod, which allows you to play co-op with other players. I generally think that will work on day one of the Sky Oblivion mod. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of mods for the Remaster Oblivion, but I just feel like there's a prime opportunity here to beef up the game and just maybe make it that tad bit better. It's still early days, so there still might be a lot of mods for the Oblivion Remaster, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more beefiness to it, and not just, oh look, UE5. I've seen some people absolutely amazed at the price that is so cheap because it's the same price as a regular game, and others who are like, why is this 20-year-old game now full priced? And I get both sides of the coin here. And honestly, I think it just comes down to your own personal preference when it comes to buying games. If you use Game Pass, then it's great because this is on Game Pass. If you don't use Game Pass and you're someone who buys a game on day one, then it might be slightly cheaper for you. If you're a bit more thrifty, or you just, a bit of a pirate, then of course you're going to be upset with the price of the game. Personally, I'm not sure if it's worth the full amount I paid just for a UE5 overhaul.
They'll buy just about anything.
But at the same time, I bought it on day one. That's my fault. Maybe in a few months' time, it'll be on sale, and it's very likely it'll get re-released 10 times over the next 10 years on your toaster, your Switch, and Anniversary Edition, and everything else. But let's be real here. It feels like the only reason they've overhauled it in such a short amount of time is because they smelt money. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because people want a new version of Oblivion, but also, what are they going to do next? Will they do Fallout 3, Fallout 4?
Shut up and take my money!
And will they put as much love into it as they should do? One of the best Bethesda games recently released was Fallout London, which was our mod team who did it for free. So, Sky Oblivion is going to be free, in theory, And honestly, I feel like it's going to be better than this. So should you buy the Oblivion Remaster? This very much depends on number one, if your PC can even run it, and number two, if you're even that nostalgic about this game. You might actually ruin it for yourself by seeing the overhaul and actually thinking, do you know what? I actually preferred the original. It's definitely going to drive a lot of new players to try Oblivion for the first time, but I also feel like that's a shame because I really like the old version of Oblivion, and now it just feels like no one's going to really remember it in years to come. It will just be washed away in time as everyone remakes the memes and guides and everything else that made Oblivion so special. I hope we don't see a repeat of what they've done to Skyrim over the years, where they just basically milk and farm it on every console and toaster going. Also, am I the only one who would have loved to see Morrowind get updated? Honestly, ask yourself this. If you do download and buy this title, how long are you going to play it for? If you've already put thousands of hours in it in the past on the original, are you going to do the same again just because it's UE5? But anyone that's new to Oblivion and have never played it before, this is a good starting point. But I honestly feel like the original might be slightly better. And on that bombshell, I'll end the video there. By all means, leave a like if you agree with me. Let me know in the comment section below if you think I'm batshit crazy. And maybe subscribe if you want more shit takes on old games, new releases. Anyway, catch you on the next one. Bye for now.